They say when a child vanishes, the world doesn't just stop. It shudders. It whispers. It speculates. And by the next morning, Willow Creek was drowning in whispers. One day had passed since Lily Thompson disappeared without a trace, and a strange kind of silence wrapped itself around the neighborhood. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. The birds weren't singing. The kids weren't playing. Just the hum of police radios and murmured fears between neighbors. Curtains were drawn tight. Parents walked their kids to school with white knuckles. Fathers stood on porches, arms folded, eyes scanning every car that passed like they were expecting something or someone, but no one saw anything. No one had any answers, and all fingers slowly started to point in one direction. Mallory Jennings, the babysitter, the last person to see Lily alive, the one who disappeared right after. Her phone was off, social media dead silent, no activity, no texts, no calls. Her last message, sent to her best friend at 8:19 p.m., read, "Lily's finally asleep, peace and quiet." That was it. Nothing else. As if she had vanished into thin air. Detective Andrea Monroe hadn't slept since the night Lily went missing. Her desk had become a battlefield of paperwork and frustration. Missing persons reports, timelines, maps, photos. Still no clue. The scent dogs had tracked Lily's trail only as far as Maplewood and Lincoln, a few blocks from the Jennings home, and then nothing. No signs of a struggle. No forced entry. No vehicle. It was as if Lily had simply walked into darkness. Monroe's eyes scanned the faces pinned to the board in her office. Lily's parents, teachers, neighbors, delivery drivers, even Mallory. Everyone had been questioned, accounted for. Everyone except the one person who mattered most now. Mallory. At Willow Creek Elementary. The whispers had already begun. Kids huddled in groups, eyes wide, voices low. Some said Lily was taken by a stranger. Others claimed they heard Mallory had secrets, that she had once written dark poems, that she wore long sleeves in the summer, that sometimes she just stared out windows like she was somewhere else. They said she didn't like to talk about her family, that she cried during recess, that she once told someone she wished she could run away and never be found. But kids can be cruel, and kids can be wrong. Then, 3 days after Lily's disappearance, a man stepped into the police station. Middle-aged, tired eyes, a pastor's collar tugged at his neck. His name was Harold Dean. He had something to confess. Mallory, he said, had come to his youth group when she was 12. Quiet, withdrawn, but she stayed late after every session. She didn't want to go home. And when he asked why, she never gave a straight answer. But she had bruises on her wrists, her neck. Once she showed up barefoot because someone had taken her shoes. He reported it to child services. They investigated, found nothing. She stopped coming not long after. The pastor never heard from her again, but he remembered her eyes. Sad, alert, like she was always waiting for something bad to happen. Now he was scared that something finally had. Monroe listened carefully. Something gnawed at her gut. That night, she returned to the Jennings home with a warrant. Mrs. Jennings was distraught. Mr. Jennings defensive. "You think our daughter had something to do with this?" they asked. But Monroe wasn't listening to their denial. She walked through the house again, her eyes sharper this time. Down in the basement, tucked in the corner, was a rug that didn't belong. Too clean, too new. Monroe lifted it. A trapdoor. Beneath it, a crawl space. Dark, dusty, crammed with boxes. And there, wedged behind old coats and a rusted toolbox, Mallory's phone. It took hours for tech to unlock it. And when they did, everything changed. Inside were voice memos, recordings of Mallory whispering into the speaker late at night. "Something's wrong," one said. "Mr. Jennings says he works late, but I've heard the garage door open around 2 a.m. Lily talks in her sleep. She says someone watches her through the window." Another recording. "Tonight, I heard a sound from the basement. Not like footsteps, like humming. A machine. When I went to check, it stopped. I think I'm being watched." The final memo chilled Monroe to the bone. Mallory whispered, "If anything happens to me, it wasn't an accident. That voice was scared, terrified, alone. Monroe played the message over and over. The Jennings family had no answers. Claimed they didn't know the phone was there. Claimed Mallory had never been in the basement. The town turned on them overnight. The house where neighborhood kids once came for birthday parties was now a crime scene. The whispers got louder. On the sixth day, at 3:12 a.m., a call came in. A woman working the overnight shift at the gas and go station claimed she'd just seen Mallory. Monroe raced over. Surveillance footage confirmed it. There she was, Mallory, disheveled, pale, clothes torn. She bought a water bottle, didn't speak to anyone, and vanished again. But the camera caught her direction, into the woods. Monroe organized a search by dawn. Dogs, drones, dozens of officers. They scoured the thick trees behind Willow Creek. That's when they found it. A small pink shoe, sparkly, the kind Lily loved. Nearby, torn fabric, a child's chain necklace, a red blonde strand of hair. Then, faintly, a scream, barely a whisper, but real. They ran toward it, through the trees, past fallen logs. And then they saw it, an old hunting cabin, covered in ivy, forgotten by time. The door creaked open. Monroe drew her weapon. Her team followed. Inside, the truth was waiting, and what they found would haunt them forever. But that part of the story, what lay behind the cabin door, will be revealed if this story gripped you. Subscribe now and open the story case with us. There's always more beneath the surface.